Hey, this is attorney Elizabeth Potts-Weinstein. Today we're going to be talking about what documents are required to register a trademark, specifically to file an application to register a trademark so you can get the serial number of that application. Now, what documents are required depends upon the basis of your application. So a trademark application with the United States Patent and Trademark Office has to be based on something. It has to be based on you using it in commerce. Using it in commerce means that money is being made. It could be money that is on advertising, monetization, like on a YouTube channel or a website via ads, but it could also be charging clients, charging customers for selling products, for selling services, of course. So you don't have to already be in business, but that does change the basis of your application. Now, there are a couple of different bases that you can use. There's a application that's based on actually using the trademark in commerce, means you've monetized. There's an application based on you have not monetized this yet. Maybe you haven't launched the business yet or so try to even sell anything. You intend to. Okay, it's intent to use. And the last one is about you have a foreign application in another country or a foreign registered trademark in another country and that the United States has a treaty with, and you're basing it on that. So typically you're going to be in one of these three categories, and you'll know that you're in one of those three categories, either monetizing it or you're not yet monetizing it. You either have a trademark in another country or you don't. So if you are selling in the United States already, you've already made a sale of the product or service, or you've monetized it via ads or something, and in conjunction with the trademark. So you have to have not just that you sold the t-shirt, but you sold the t-shirt under that branding. Okay, you can't change the brand and use the old t-shirt sales. It has to be with the current branding. Then what you have to give the trademark office is the date of first sale and a specimen. The specimen is proof that you're doing these sales. So typically if it's a product, let's say it's a t-shirt, it is a photo, a real photo, not a mock-up of the t-shirt with the branding on a tag, on a label, on the packaging, something like that. Now, if it is a service, typically you'll give them a piece of your marketing. So it's a screenshot from your website or a copy of the flyer, that kind of thing. Now, if it's something like advertising, then you're going to take a screenshot of, the website, the YouTube channel, and then they can see the ads that are on there. So you have to, that specimen has to show both the branding and the product or service. So the trademark office can see what it is and they know it's in the right category, it's in the right class. Now, you don't have to usually prove the date of first sale unless they ask for the proof. And sometimes they do ask for the proof, especially if you don't submit a real picture of your product. You do a computer-generated mock-up or some AI thing or whatever, then they don't believe you. And so then you have to come back and prove that first sale, the date. It could be an invoice, a receipt, you probably have something like that proves up that first date. But let's say you haven't made any sales. So then what? Then you're filing as an intent to use application. There, you don't have to prove anything because there's nothing to prove yet. You'll file that later though, but not when you initially file. You are just going to be stating under penalty of perjury that you intend to do this business in these categories of products or services in this class. Now, if you are filing it based on a foreign application, and the reason you might do that is because if you're filing it under an intent to use, you don't sell in the United States already, then you get dibs, you get priority as of the date you file. But if you have an application or a trademark in another country that you filed last year or whatever, then you might be able to get that date going back. Now, there's limits on that, there's timelines. I'm not going to go into that in this video, but if you have that foreign trademark, you're going to have to submit the certified copy of it. And if it's not in English, you're going to have to submit it in English translation. So that's something to be aware of. A lot of trademarks in other countries actually will come with an English translation. It just depends on the country, obviously. So something to be aware that you may have to pay for a certified translation there. There's a couple other things that you might need to provide. So if you are filing it based on a logo, you're going to need a logo file. That is the logo. So that's probably pretty obvious, but you're going to need that logo file. And you're going to pick the exact logo. You can't give them 3 different versions of the logo, whatever. No. You pick one, you get a trademark on one logo, or you file multiple trademark applications on multiple versions of the logo, but those are all separate and more fees, etc. Also, if you need to assign the trademark to a different entity, you will need paperwork for that, but you don't need that when you file the application. This is something that comes up, like let's say you're your business right now is a sole proprietorship, and then some years from now you create an LLC or corporation, you're going to assign, or it's like kind of selling, transferring the trademark to that new entity. When you do that, you have to file paperwork with the trademark office, but you don't do that at the beginning. So the very beginning, when you're filing a trademark, the minimal level, if you're not doing sales, you really don't have to provide very many documents at all. You just have to provide them information. You have to provide the owner's name, the owner's contact information, mailing address, and domicile address, which is your actual location. And if you don't have an actual location, it's the actual location, the home address of the owner. And you have to give them what the trademark is, obviously, and you have to pick a class. This is something that is important to know, is that you can't just file it for like every kind of product that exists. You actually have to narrow it down. So you can't just file it, for example, on home goods. You have to pick, oh, I want to do furniture or mugs or whatever. Like you have to pick, because those are all different classes and all different fees. So you have to be a little bit specific about the kinds of products or services you're going to do. But you don't provide documentation of that at the beginning if you're filing an intent to use application. And then when you file your application, you get the serial number immediately. It's like the last screen. So if you want to get Amazon brand registry or something like that, you will have that serial number immediately. Now, when they go back and check, it will take a few business days, maybe even up to a week. It depends on how many of the applications they're getting and holidays and things like that. But the serial number will not show up in the database for a few days. So it does take a little bit of time for the Amazon brand registry, for example, to go through. Now, if you need it to get a handle or to do some dispute on social media, you're going to have to wait for the trademark to actually be approved so you get a trademark registration number. Again, this is attorney Elizabeth Potts-Weinstein. If you have any questions about what we talked about today, feel free to ask them in the comments below and I'll try to point you in the right direction. Thumbs up if you found this video helpful. Subscribe for more videos like this. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.